IRS.
I thought she quit. I thought she gave up. Where did she go? Where did Hillary go? They had to start the debate without her. Phase 2. Why? I know where she went. It's disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. She was favored to win, and she lost. She lost.
Trey Hardin, that's the man leading in all the polls. That is the man of the hour. Good morning, Trey Hardin, ABC News political analyst.
Good morning, McGraw.
Yeah. How is I know every week we talk about this, and every week you keep saying, hold on, the cavalry's coming. He's going to fold. How is this going to end? How is he going to drop in the polls?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if it's necessarily a cavalry coming or he's going to fold, but I just think we have to look at history. 4 years ago, the polls at this time and leading up to it, they're just so volatile. They're all over the place, and we tend to get into January and hit the reset button, and things, it's as if people are coming out of the holidays and really kind of thinking almost differently about how they're actually going to vote as opposed to how they're going to answer these polling questions when people call their homes relentlessly to ask them polling questions. 4 years ago exactly at this time, Rick Santorum had 3% in most polls, and he ended up winning Iowa, or basically tying for the win in Iowa with Romney. Gingrich was leading. So, I'm not saying that right now is very similar to what happened 4 years ago. I think that we've got a unique candidate. We're at a unique time. I think, frankly, the fact that there are people that clearly are supporting Trump represent to me, how disenfranchised people are with Washington, D.C. and politics in general. The fact that they are willing to put their support behind a guy, even though he makes the most asinine, bigoted, racist, sexist, just, uneducated comments and remarks, I think shows that they almost don't take politicians that seriously, or and in lack of anyone else being there, that they might as well support the guy that at least says some things that they tend to support. But let's be honest, his supporters are angry old white men, and those seem to be the only ones that are kind of answering these polling questions right now. I think we'll see some different things come early next year.
So Lindsey Graham steps down, and in his exit interview, if you will, says the most interesting, nuanced, thought-provoking, presidential-sounding answers in the entire campaign. Why is it that politicians are the best in their exit interviews after they've stepped down, and they can't do that on the campaign trail?
It's such a great question, and it's so true for you and I that have been following this stuff or involved for years. The lack of authenticity that we see when these people are actually running, and maybe, again, that's why people like Trump, because he's not changing. He's being himself clearly when he's out there on the stump. But the fact that most of these people feel like they have to come up with sound bites and almost be acting to a certain degree when they're running for office, and then in their times when they're not out there feeling like being driven by staff to say this or that, and they can be real. It's both refreshing, but it's also frustrating and confusing. But I think it's just a reality. I think it goes to show you the difference in the mode that these candidates feel they have to put themselves in when they're running for office, or when they're decide not to, and they can kind of show a little humility.
Yeah, you talk about authenticity, and if they can fake that, they can fake anything. I don't know how.
Gosh, we're talking about faking things. I can just picture Donald Trump. Especially to start talking about faking certain things as well. It's just like a new little bite that he comes up with almost on a daily basis. If nothing else, it's entertaining, but. And as I said, I think it represents really just people being disenfranchised with just politicians in general. The fact that we're willing to support a guy that's as nut crazy as he is, but we'll see what happens. I think that there are a lot of older, angry white males who legitimately support the guy, and maybe they will actually get off the couch and go vote. We just don't know that yet for sure, but maybe they will. But I tend to think that women will play a role in the process, and they certainly are not going to vote for the guy. And you've got a lot of other Republican voters that really probably have just not taken the time to answer these polling phone calls, but yet are going to show up at the caucuses in Iowa and in New Hampshire and South Carolina, et cetera.
Trey Hardin, Merry Christmas. Talk to you next week.
Same to you and yours.
Trey Hardin, ABC News radio political analyst, one of the best in the business.